Super 8 static.
Yo, welcome back. All right, we're watching 5 most disturbing fortune threads. Let's go. Oh, give me a minute. Hold on.
Just before midnight on the 4th of September 2022, a post went up on 4chan talking about a disturbing visual the OP's
4chan.
friends came across on TV. It
4man.
read, "While talking with my friend, they sent a video of their TV, zooming in on a face surrounded by static. They're residing in a Super 8 hotel with channels 1 through 68, yet they found an unnamed channel 73. The top right corner of the video says Plus TV, which appears to be a now defunct Finnish broadcasting service. There's no sound, and the TV manufacturer is Samsung. They found other channels with static and no sound, but no others have the Face or Plus TV logo." Alongside this, the OP also shared a video of what their friend was seeing, and sure enough, it was exactly as they described.
Dog, that is horrifying.
A few minutes later, they also uploaded a picture of the
That
channel
is
guide for
creepy
the
as
hotel
hell.
their friend was
I'm
staying
getting
at.
goosebumps,
It listed
bro.
68 channels, providing that the very existence of the 73rd channel was an anomaly in and of itself. Naturally, this thread went viral within hours, with hundreds of users trying to figure out the answer to the mystery. A mystery that only deepened further when the friend that was staying at the hotel got directly involved with the conversation. "Hi, a friend of the OP here. If anyone actually has any idea what this could be, I'm curious to know. I'll be checking again in the morning to see if the channel's still..."
I'll tell you what, it was your friend playing a prank, dog. Like, what? How are you gonna get a face surrounded by static like that on TV, just like that, bro? That was like that's 2022, bro. Like that's easy to do.
There. It's 12 a.m. right
Y'all
now,
are faking
and
it,
it's
bro.
the same thing.
It's
I have literally no
fishing
clue
string.
what this could be. I've been looking around on Google for stuff, but nothing that looks like this, and I can't think of a reason for this to be here." About 10 hours later, they shared new pictures and a new video of the TV, the face still on it.
It is creepy.
Unfortunately, they had to leave the hotel
I
at this
promise
point
you, bro.
and couldn't
I
monitor it
guarantee
any
you,
further,
that's
leaving
the
4chan users with almost
operator
no
or whatever,
leads to
the
work
OP,
with. There were several
and
theories
he just
that gained
edited his
traction
face
as the
in.
conversation
That's
went
not
on.
real, bro.
The first of
That's
which
not
was that
real.
the OP staged the whole thing for attention
Exactly,
on the
he
internet.
definitely did,
As
bro.
one user mentioned, "Someone plugged their laptop into the HDMI port and is playing some video file they made. Guys, come on."
Like,
Which is
come on.
quite plausible. Analog horror videos of this kind are a dime a dozen on the internet. However, many were quick to defend OP. They pointed out how the TV would have displayed HDMI on the screen if they had switched to it after browsing the legitimate channels, how the static remained consistent across the different channels, and most importantly, that there were no signs of something like a laptop being plugged into the TV in any of the pictures or videos.
What do you mean no signs? How else would you like, guys? There's no signs I have a PC plugged into my monitor. Do you guys see a PC plugged into my monitor? Wow, my monitor is just Well, y'all stupid, bro.
Now, there's obviously still a
Stupid. This is
possibility that the
stupid.
OP did a very good job of covering their
Yes,
tracks to make it
yes.
seem as legit as possible.
Yes, that's
but unless
exactly
the
what
OP
happened.
confessed themselves, there's no way to know for sure.
He doesn't
That
need to
said,
confess, that's
assuming that they
fake.
were telling the truth, we still have a couple of plausible explanations of what might have happened.
Yeah, here's an explanation. It's fake.
One of which revolves around the idea that the unsettling imagery on channel 73 was the result of a channel hijacking or hack. A user with extensive knowledge in the field of TV hacking actually came across this thread and left some valuable feedback, reading, "Hey OP, I think I know exactly what this
I'll tell you what it is.
A user
It's just a video of a guy of someone changing through channels, right? Like, it's a video capture of someone changing through channels. Like, do you see the OP pressing the buttons on the like TV remote? No, you're not.
with extensive
fake.
knowledge in the field
It's
of TV
fake, bro.
hacking actually came across this thread and left some valuable feedback, reading, "Hey OP, I think I know exactly what this is. So, back in the day when analog TVs were more common, there was a nefarious hobby for nerds called TV pirating. This is where you hijack an unused low-frequency channel from nearby and can broadcast whatever you want on
Yeah,
it.
sure,
I
buddy.
used to do it quite often in Topeka, both
Sure
on
you did.
TV and radio.
Sure you did.
Anyway, it's still common in some places, although harder to not get caught or be shut down automatically in a matter of seconds. So, what TV pirates do now is run a very low-quality test with static and a symbol in the center to broadcast a recognizable symbol and test if it works, while also being an inside joke to other TV pirates who they may know online or IRL. Put simply,
Sure,
someone
they're
else
sure
staying
thing,
at the
buddy.
same Super 8 hotel likely hacked into their TV networking system and broadcasted this low-quality but still recognizable image for nothing but fun. This would also explain why there were more than 68 channels on the TV. Presumably, the hacker enabled them and then used one of them to conduct his Christmas present. On the 20th of December 2018, a post appeared on the B or random board of 4chan with a vague statement from OP reading, "Be here in B 23/12/2018, GMT +1. You don't want to miss this." One user asked for more information, writing, "What am I in for?" To which the OP gave a rather ominous reply stating, "Let's just say it's my Christmas present for you." The OP went dark after posting this reply and didn't make any other posts until 3 days later, just as he promised. "Sorry guys,
Merry
2
Christmas.
beers left and I will go for it. It will ruin my life for years, so I need to get some courage."
Well, you gonna ask your
Initially,
girl out?
most users
And
were
she's gonna
either
reject you?
confused due to the OP's vagueness or sympathetic towards him, with
Why you
one
shooting
person
up, guy?
writing, "Go for what? Don't ruin your life, bro. Do some good stuff for yourself." But after several people asking about his motives, he finally confessed that he was going to take the life of his own father,
Yeah,
and that he was just waiting for him to fall asleep.
That's a horrible.
As
That's
the OP
horrible.
continued to provide more details about his circumstances, the tone of the thread shifted from users doubting him to many encouraging him to go through with his plans. "Don't give up halfway through, OP. Finish the
See, this is why you need to take your kids' phones away, bro. Because this dumb crap.
job." One user even went as far as to write a whole guide on how the OP should execute his plan, stating,
That's
"You
horrible.
got to plan it better, Anon. You'll be the prime suspect by tomorrow and be in cuffs within a week. Don't do yourself that way. If he's taken advantage of people the way you say he has,
Yeah, sure.
then there will be plenty of motive for many people to end him. You have a great opportunity for the police to say, well, this guy wronged so many people, it could be anyone. We have 126 prime suspects at the moment. Spend 2 months doing nothing but researching unsolved murders, then smash and burn your hard drive and throw it in a lake 100 miles away. Have an alibi. Be away. Have your story straightforward and never change it. Be prepared to be questioned, then get on with it." Maybe some of them
What?
still believed that the OP was just making up everything for attention. However, things took a very dark turn about an hour after the beginning of this thread.
Bro, I'm
when
gonna
the
close
OP
my
posted
curtain,
a
bro.
picture of what looked like the entrance to a bedroom, with the caption simply reading, "Wish me luck." About 30 minutes after that, the OP returned with one final picture, proving that he went through with his plan, stating, "OP here. I'm about to call the police for myself." Not long after that, the police in Austrad, Norway received a call from the OP confessing to his crime.
What an oh
Though,
my
because
god,
of Norway's
bro.
strong privacy laws, the only information about the OP that became public was that he was in his 20s. Apart from that, the OP of this disturbing 4chan thread remains anonymous to this day.
I don't know about anonymous. His name is probably out there. We just probably don't know that it's this man or this person or this kid. What's next?
Grand
That wasn't
Rapids
scary.
Diner.
Grand Rapids
On
Diner.
the 20th of August 2019, an anonymous person started a thread discussing some extremely
Grand
unsettling
Rapids?
activity he noticed
My.
at an abandoned building near his
Maryland? Massachusetts? But
home.
whatever, man.
However, what sounded like nothing more than a conspiracy creepypasta
What the hell
turned
is
into
this?
a disturbing mystery involving shady shell companies, mysterious sightings, and the potential disappearance of 3 people who were
Missouri?
looking for more evidence. The post read, "You X-Files want to solve a
Alabama?
conspiracy? 1634 Coit, Grand Rapids, Michigan was once a popular restaurant called Isaac's that opened
Yo,
shop in the
Michigan is like-
mid-1990s. After
where's
the
Michigan
owner,
again,
Isaac,
bro?
died from
Hold
lung
on.
cancer, his widow and son
No,
kept it running
never.
for a few years before ultimately closing down and selling the building in the early parts of 2014.
Isaac's
A strange
restaurant.
couple in their 40s purchased it shortly thereafter with the intention of turning it into a coffee shop. They painted the exterior, put a lamp in the middle of the building, taped garbage bags over the
I once opened a coffee shop, but I ran out of coffee, so I had to close it. I didn't know where to get the coffee from, and
windows, and that's how it sat until present day. It was in the fall of 2015.
I also
when
forgot
weird
where my
stuff
keys
started
were, so I never
happening.
went back to
It was
open.
not
and
uncommon to see 2
It's
or
not a
3
coffee shop
SUVs
anymore.
pull into the premises, bring in a group of young children, and then see the adults leave, but never catch sight of the children again. The reason I'm posting this
What?
is because I was just walking my dog past the building tonight when I saw a kid about 10 or 11 pull down a corner of one of the garbage bags taped over the window and proceeding to pound on the glass as if trying to get my attention.
What?
I pulled out my camera to get a pic, but right before the flash went off, he was seemingly pulled away by
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah,
I stood around for
conveniently.
several more minutes,
Fake.
but the building seemed empty from that point forward.
I'll tell you what happened. The tape that was keeping up that little cover kind of like degraded over time, because sometimes it does that, really bad quality tape from the way so the thing fell on its own. There was no kid. You're just making this up for attention. Attention.
The
All
police
right.
were called,
Stop it.
showed up,
Get
flashed
help.
their lights in the window, and didn't see anything and just took off.
Yeah, they didn't see
No one
anything
is
because there
taking
was
this
nothing in there.
seriously. I'm telling you, something nefarious is going on
No,
here.
there isn't.
Put simply, the OP was implying that this abandoned building was the operating ground for a trafficking ring of sorts. Which does sound a bit out there at first, with some even accusing the OP of straight up making the whole thing up. That is, until people started looking into it. And what they discovered was concerning to say the least. For starters, users uncovered the fact that the property was owned by a company called Humanix LLC, which to some sounded a lot like a mix of words human and trafficking.
So then Apple should be selling apples. Samsung is owned by someone who's Sam and he sung a song. OnePlus is just a +1 to a party. Like, come on, people.
The company's headquarters were publicly
Stupid
listed
idiots,
as a
man.
house just a
Doesn't make any
7-minute drive
sense.
away from the abandoned diner. And visiting the place on Google Street View from 2019 shows an SUV and a van parked
Wait,
outside.
what?
Visiting the publicly listed as a mix of words human and trafficking.
Uh-huh.
The company's headquarters were publicly listed as a house just a 7-minute drive away from the abandoned diner. And visiting the place on Google Street View from 2019 shows an SUV and a van parked outside.
A van? That must be them, bro. Guilty.
Just like the OP claimed in his post. At one point, the Street View car also captured a handful of children in the house's yard, which some used as evidence of something shady going on.
Oh my god, bro. You think if someone was human trafficking kids, they would put them in public, outside on a playground? Oh, hey kids, yeah, we're gonna sell you later, but you should play for a little bit. What? Oh my
However,
God,
from
man.
the looks of things, these children were just playing in the yard.
Bro,
with
they're
no
just
fence or
chilling and there's this
supervision.
random dude
So
just...
if they were
If anything, the dude taking the picture of them is the creepy one, just taking random pictures of a bunch of kids.
truly being trafficked, there was nothing
No
stopping
one's
them
being
from
trafficked.
running
The only
away.
trafficking that's
Still,
happening
the
is
evidence
this guy
supporting
causing
OP's
traffic in the
claims
street for
was
stopping and
continuing
taking
to
pictures of
pile up.
kids.
Another strange thing about Humanix was that it had a reported yearly revenue of over $92,000, despite no one being able to find any information on where this revenue came from.
Probably
As
a
for the
private
listed
company,
owner of
something like that. I
Humanix,
don't know.
that turned out to be an IT professional named Ray. However, he didn't list anything about Humanix on his LinkedIn profile, which would make sense if he was truly using the company for illegal activities. Lastly,
No.
the photo
Oh
OP
my
uploaded
God.
with his original post also turned out to have a crucial piece of that.
Guys, remember, guys, if your LinkedIn is not set up, all right, if your LinkedIn is not set up, you're doing something bad, all right? You're doing something bad. Just remember that.
You see, in order to confirm the OP was actually the one who took this picture, other users made him post another picture with a timestamp. However, while the background of this new photo looks similar to the previous one at first glance, keen-eyed users noticed a shadow from behind the door was missing in the second photo, suggesting that there was someone hiding behind the door
A what? What?
who later moved away. Likely the same person who in the OP's story pulled the child away from the window.
What?
These discoveries combine same suggest keen-eyed. However, while the
A shadow behind
background
the
of this
door?
new photo looks similar to the previous one at first glance, keen-eyed users noticed a shadow from behind the door was missing in the second photo, suggesting that there was someone hiding
What?
behind the
Yo,
door.
y'all
who
are
later moved
bugging, bro.
away.
Y'all are bugging.
Likely the same person who in the OP's story pulled the
There's
child
nothing
away
there.
from the window. These discoveries, combined with some users from that area backing up OP's claims, made 4chan users extremely curious about what was going on.
Nothing's
With
going
a few
on.
deciding to take matters into their own hands and visit the area themselves. One user drove to the location and managed to stream their visit. And while the stream itself has
Isn't it
since been
weird that they always go at night? Isn't it weird that they always go at night? Like, why do you always go at night? Just go during the day. Go during the day. There's probably gonna be more light inside. Go during the day.
and deleted, a screen grab from it survived. It showed the interior of the place, which was a total mess. There was nothing there to suggest that the property had been under renovation for years by that point. Another user also
it
visited
wasn't,
the
it's
diner and
boarded
streamed
up.
everything on Twitch.
Oh my
However,
God.
this stream introduced even more questions than it answered. For starters, at one point during the stream, we could clearly see handprints on the window, exactly where the OP claimed the child was banging earlier.
There's no
The person
handprints.
streaming this location also ended the stream in a very disturbing fashion, where he heard something in the darkness, went to check on it, and then went offline.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, I thought I heard something back here.
Yeah, uh-huh. Hey guys, yeah, I'm in this, strange, creepy place where human trafficking probably happens. But listen, I just heard a noise off to the left. I'm gonna go check it out.
Nope. Okay. No.
It's been over 6 years since then, and this user has never streamed on Twitch again, almost as if he disappeared that night, which unfortunately seems to be a trend with this
Or
mystery.
maybe he just is not a streamer. Oh my god.
Both the OP and the
Logic?
person who
No
streamed the
way.
interior first have also disappeared from the internet, and supposedly no one has heard anything from them ever since. So, what's
That's
going
called a
on
hoax.
here? Was this abandoned diner actually connected to a trafficking business?
No.
Well, given everything we've seen, that's not out of the realm of possibility. The place even had a spacious
Yeah, you know
basement
what
with
else is
plenty
not out of the realm of possibility? That it's used as a private zoo that nobody knows about, an illegal zoo. There's lions and tigers in there, and there's animal trafficking, not human trafficking.
space for nefarious activities.
No.
One of the main arguments against this theory is that the building is surrounded by homes on all sides.
for real.
So surely someone in the neighborhood might have reported some suspicious activity. However, something that goes against this assumption is the fact that the Grand Rapids area has 10 times the national average of people on the sex offender registry. So, if this business was actually what the OP insinuated, there would be no shortage of customers nearby. Though, one part of the story that we haven't talked about yet is the second address linked to Humanix. It corresponds to a massive house about 20 minutes away from the shady diner. Looking up the residence of this home leads to a couple named Sam and Leah, who could be the couple the OP mentioned in his post. Something notable about Sam and Leah, however, is that they were the foster parents of up to 8 kids at the time, which explains the many kids of similar age playing in the yard of their other property. And
Right,
given
makes
how
sense, right?
rigorous the foster system is in the US, it would not be easy for them to traffic the children they adopted without anyone noticing. Now, a potential explanation for all of this is that the OP saw the couple in the area once with their foster children and made up the rest of the story for attention online.
Yep.
But while this explains some parts of the mystery, there are still many questions left unanswered. For instance, how was Humanix making so much money without providing any product or service? Why would Sam and Leah take their foster children to an under-renovation building in the first place? And why did the 3 people investigating this mystery completely disappear from the internet without a trace? Unfortunately, it's been over 6 years since the original post went up.
Maybe that's
the
the
diner has
plan.
since been sold to someone else, and no one has been able to find any concrete evidence of the trafficking theory
Yeah,
ever
because
since.
it never happened.
Whatever the deal with this Grand Rapids diner was, whether nefarious or completely innocent, it will likely remain a mystery for the foreseeable future. Northwest Warning. On the evening of September 30th, 2015, an ominous thread went up on 4chan from an anonymous user stating, "Some of you guys are alright. Don't go to school tomorrow if you are in the Northwest. Happening thread will be posted tomorrow morning. So long, space
Happening
robots."
thread?
The contents of this post alongside the picture of Pepe the Frog holding a gun painted a clear picture of what the OP meant. Essentially, he was about to do something horrible the next morning, and this was his way of getting some online attention before that. Now, threats like
I'm
these
hungry,
aren't
bro.
exactly rare
I'm
on
actually
4chan, as most of them end up being nothing more than hoaxes. So, some users didn't take the post seriously at all, while others sarcastically told the OP that they would be watching the news in anticipation. The OP, however, stayed adamant about his plans and even replied stating, "We'll post again in the AM, 10-minute countdown. Won't say more, too much to prepare." This was a short-lived
10-minute
thread
count. You
that
tell me you're
quickly
gonna
got lost
sit
in
there.
the endless
You're gonna sit there for 10 minutes every minute. You're gonna be making a post every minute. 10-minute countdown.
supply of content on
I don't
4chan.
know, man.
However, what happened the next day left everyone who saw the thread in shock. On the morning of
He actually
October
did it?
1st, a deadly shooting occurred at Umpqua Community College in Oregon, with the suspect being identified as 26-year-old Chris Harper Mercer.
I know this
Chris
guy.
was presumably the anonymous
Yeah,
author
went
of
to
this
college with
post
him.
a day prior. The 4chan thread was quickly discovered and put under investigation by the authorities, and for good reason. The original post was one thing, but what made the connection even stronger was the conversation the OP had with another user. Most of that original thread has since been deleted, but according to the few surviving reports, one of the other users, thinking the OP was joking, actually gave advice on how to carry out the attack, with the OP thanking them for the tip. A day later, parts of the incident were
complicit.
exactly as this random user advised. However, despite this connection, nothing much came of this investigation for the next 8 or so years.
Yeah.
That is, until the FBI released a document with a twist that no one saw coming.
What,
According
Epstein
to
files?
this heavily redacted
Oh.
document, the person who made the 4chan post had nothing to do with the incident. The FBI managed to track down the anonymous poster in less than 24 hours and conducted a thorough investigation into his life. The OP, let's call him John, was actually a young man from Florida who originally grew up in Michigan.
Apparently, him making the thread about an upcoming incident the next day was nothing more than a massive coincidence. He had no knowledge of the attack beforehand and had no connection to Chris, the actual perpetrator. The odds of John randomly predicting such a specific event are astronomically low. No one would even believe this report if it wasn't directly from the FBI itself.
What a twist.
And many people today don't even believe this, arguing that it's too much of a coincidence to not have been posted by Chris. Another possibility,
Or
something that the FBI...
Or, listen to this, kids. Chris maybe saw it and was like, yo, I should probably do that. Good idea. I won't get caught.
report didn't mention is that maybe Chris only came across this 4chan thread, which would explain why he used the same tactics described there. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find any evidence supporting or denying this theory. Dubs decides. On August 30th, 2015, a user posted a timestamped picture of the big...
Ew. What is that? Is that infected? What?
Random board of 4chan alongside the caption,
Dubs decides what I do.
Dubs, for those who don't know, refers to the last 2 digits of a post number being the same. You see, every post on 4chan is given a random identifying number, and there's no way to predict what it's going to be. So, the chances of the last 2 digits of this number being the same are quite low, but still within the realm of possibility. In other words, OP claimed that he would do whatever a reply with the matching last 2 digits said. This is a tactic often used by people who just want attention, without having to actually do the crazy thing they promised, hoping none of the replies are dubs. Even when a reply does get dubs, the posters rarely fulfill their promise. However, the OP of this particular post was of a completely different mindset. As when a reply without even dubs told him to
chop off the toe,
he obliged and posted a picture of his toe tightly wrapped with the caption reading,
cutting off circulation may take some time.
Why?
A few minutes later, he posted a second photo of his foot on the edge of a bathtub with a hatchet and a bucket of ice in the picture as well. Even with all this buildup, however, no one actually expected the OP to go through with this commitment.
But he did.
Then, about 40 minutes later, the OP returned with a picture of his toe severed to the bone and covered in blood. With this, the thread divulged into a string of typical 4chan-style reaction images from the community. As for the OP, he completely disappeared from the thread and didn't post any further updates. Now, it's possible he used the bucket of ice to preserve the severed part to hopefully get it reattached.
Or he faked it. Bro, I'm a master detective, bro. I'm telling you. Like, this is not real.
To the hospital. But even then, promising something this horrific and actually going through with it hinted at the possibility of the OP being deeply mentally ill. That's one of the only explanations for why anyone would willingly do such a thing. Now, I have seen some claims that the final image was a convincing Photoshop job or special effects. However, while I can't show the image on YouTube, the injury and the blood is way too realistic looking to be fake, especially for 2015 standards.
Buddy, there's better CGI from the 90s. Relax. Like, you're lying to yourself.